This is Linda Satgas from Digital Scrapper, here to tell you about the cool new features of Photoshop Elements 9. Well, I never thought they'd do it, but Adobe has added a layer mask function to Photoshop Elements 9. If I could choose only one reason to upgrade, this would be it. Of course, we've been able to do workarounds for years, but it's a royal pain, and this is so much easier. So let me do a quick and simple demonstration of what you can do with a layer mask. Here's a photo that would look great with a textured overlay. I've already added the overlay over here in the Layers panel, so I'll make it visible by clicking on this box to the left of the thumbnail. And then I'll change the blend mode at the top of the Layers panel from normal to overlay. And now I have this wonderful artistic effect over here on the photo. If the effect is too much, I can lower the opacity of this layer by opening this slider over here and moving it to the left, and I'll bring it down to around 80%. What if I like this overall effect, but I want less texture over a certain part of the photo, for instance this area right here? Well, all I have to do is add a layer mask. Now watch my color chips over here on the left as I click on the layer mask icon at the bottom of the Layers panel. My color chips turn to black and white, and that's because those are the colors you use to paint on a mask. White reveals the layer mask layer and black hides it. To paint on the mask, I'll need the brush tool. So I'll click on the brush tool and I'll open the brush picker in the options bar and choose the number 300 soft round brush. And now we want to make sure that the foreground color is black, because black will hide part of this layer if we paint with black. To switch these color chips, click on this double-headed arrow, or you can also use your keyboard and press the letter X, and that will also switch the color chips. So now with black as my foreground color chip, I will simply click and drag across my photo, and you can see that it totally hides this part of this layer right here. So wherever it's perfectly black, it's going to hide the layer. On the edges we have kind of a soft area because my brush is soft. Now let me show you what the layer mask actually looks like. I'll press Alt in Windows or Option on a Mac and click on the layer mask thumbnail, and there you can see my black stroke. So if I press Alt or Option and click on the layer mask again to hide it, and then change my color chips to white as a foreground color by pressing the letter X, I can actually come along here and just paint that effect back in. So white will reveal the layer and black will hide the layer. But what if you want something in between? I don't want 100% of this area removed, so I'm going to come up to the options bar and change my opacity so that it's down to around maybe 40%. Now I'll click and drag over here, and actually first I need to change my color chip so that my foreground color is black, and now I can click and drag and it will remove the effect of that overlay layer. If I want to brush some of that effect back in, and I think I will, I'm going to bring this down to around 20%. And this time I'll switch my color chip so that white is the foreground color, and that will paint some of that effect back in. And that looks good to me right there. There are many, many ways to use a layer mask. If you want to learn more about layer masking, or if you want to learn how to use Photoshop Elements for digital scrapbooking, visit my website, www.scrappersguide.com. This is Linda Satgas with Digital Scrapper Tutorials.